Well, Biden is celebrating his Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire deal, but could it end up being a Trojan horse from Iran? Joining me now is Mike Huckabee, President Trump's ambassador to Israel, the nominee, and former Arkansas governor. Mike, great to see you. Congrats on the nomination. About this ceasefire deal, it's being sold by Biden and the UN and other people as a good deal, but it uses the Lebanese army as the buffer between Hezbollah and Israel, as if the Lebanese army was completely neutral. Isn't it essentially owned by Hezbollah and therefore by Iran?
David, you sound like such a cynic in your disbelief that this is going to be all on the up and up. My goodness, it's Thanksgiving, man. We're supposed to be happy about everything. But I think all of us have some skepticism, and it's why when you heard Prime Minister Netanyahu yesterday talking about the ceasefire, it was very clear that he kept open every option to the Israelis that if there's any violation, not just in military action, but if there's any movement, and it appears that there is movement toward military action, then all bets are off. The deal is no longer in effect, and Israel can go back and do everything they have to do to defend themselves against what has been a relentless series of attacks that dates back all the way to October 8th. So this has been just a horrendous attack. I was on the border of Lebanon about 2 months ago, and it was just sad to see how many communities are deserted from Israeli families who can't live in their homes anymore because the relentless attack of rockets and missiles that never stop from Hezbollah.
Well, I'm glad that hopefully some people in northern Israel be able to go home. But again, I just don't believe that Lebanon is going to be a neutral buffer between Hezbollah and the Israeli army. And then you have the UN becoming empowered as kind of the overseer of all that. Of course, we saw with UNRWA in Gaza exactly how close they were with Hamas. Don't you worry that they may be just as close with the Hezbollah crowd in Lebanon?
Yeah, it's like letting your 400-pound uncle be in charge of guarding the table from the kids on Thanksgiving Day. I mean, that's got to be one of the worst possible ideas, is let the UN monitor anything. They're utterly worthless. If anything, they have despicable actions when it relates to anything involving Israel. But I do think that one of the reasons that the Prime Minister and the Israelis made the decision was because, frankly, their soldiers, they need some R&R. They have been under the most extraordinary pressure. And so if it gives them even a few days just to rest, go see their families, and then they have to be called back, and they very likely will, then they've at least had that time. Well, I think we all would like to see this work. It would, in fact, disconnect Hamas and Hezbollah and their actions. But let's not kid ourselves. There's still something to be done. Number one, get those hostages out, 7 of whom are American citizens.
Yes.
And that is still number one priority. Hamas cannot be allowed to continue.
Mike,
they've got to be rooted out.
Very quickly, we only got 10 seconds, but is it possible that as ambassador to Israel, you might be able to bring some Palestinians who are fed up with Hamas, fed up with Hezbollah, fed up with the PA into the fold? You only got 10 seconds.
Yeah, I certainly hope so, David, because they have been abused by their own government for so long. It's time to get some help.
Future ambassador to Israel.